Hello and welcome back to Farmstead MTG. So we have reached the top 8 of the Plague tournament. So without further ado, let's take a look at some decks, shall we? And here is the first deck. Player name is Simon, coming all the way from Denmark. He was the only Danish player, so that was awesome of you to come here. And he also has a Twitch channel, you should check that out. And he is playing the deck. So this deck is pretty stock, but he is playing with a clay statue instead of Sarah Angels. So that's pretty cool. That's some Team Tron tech. There's also a maze in his main deck. And yeah, I've talked about all the altars and what a beautiful deck this is. So yeah, fantastic. And here's the second deck. Player name is Thomas. And wow, a really beautiful deck. Thomas always makes beautiful decks. And sometimes he makes some pretty spicy decks. But for this tournament, he's going all in. A Lion-Dib deck. It's not playing red for bolts or something like that. So it's a bit more controlish. Yeah, full set of counter spells. And some more angels in the sideboard. Perhaps they will get in here. Yeah, so that's two fantastic decks, two very good players. So let's see how this goes. Game number 1. You have Simon on the top and Thomas on the bottom. Right. Simon is on the play. A factory and a Mox Pearl. So I think I saw a Savannah line in Thomas's hand, so it should be a pretty easy play the first turn. But he is doing some thinking. Ooh, an Ancestral. Okay, yeah, so perhaps he wanted to cast it before Simon had any blue mana for a counterspell or something like that. And there's a green Mox. So Simon attacks for 2. The deck going out aggressively, doing 2 damage. And there's a Strip Mine from Thomas. Going for the Volcanic. Ooh, and a Black Lotus into a Sarah Angel. Wow. That's pretty fast. Oh, and Simon is attacking. That's a bold. So he's really representing a lightning bolt in his hand. But casting that Sarah Angel that early is a bit risky because Simon does have a Mox Pearl in play, so he can cast Sword to Plowshare. But then again, I don't think Thomas wants to go to late game against the deck, so I think it's better to be aggressive. And yes, there is the lightning bolt. So smart of Thomas not to block with a Sarah Angel. Okay, tapping 4. Ooh, Brain Geyser for 2. And he has 2 City in the Brass in play, so takes a lot of damage here. Now Thomas can attack for 6. And he has a Chaos Orb. Okay. So here comes the team. Puts Simon down to 7. And Thomas is holding up double blue. Okay, tapping 2 mana for a balance. Okay, does Thomas have a counterspell? Yes, he does. Okay. Then I think it's pretty over here. So he can attack for 6. So perhaps he will only attack with the Serra Angel because he can't kill Simon this turn. Simon's at 7 and he can only do 6 damage. Because he could use the Chaos Orb to take care of Simon's factory. Okay, so he only attacks with the Serra Angel. Down to 3. Another Lion. And he passed the turn. Okay, Simon. Okay, he scoops. That was quick. So game number 2. Simon is on the play. City of Brass, Mox Sapphire. So now we can represent a counter spell. There's a Tundra from Thomas. 2 Moxes. And there's an Altered Soul Ring. And a Divine Offering from Thomas. Yeah, Simon is missing his second land drop, so I think it's smart of Thomas to go after that Soul Ring. Because the deck really wants, in the early game, the deck really just wanted to just deploy lands and draw cards and deal with whatever the opponent is doing. There is a Time Walk. It's not the best situation to cast Time Walk, but then again you don't want to be stuck with it in your hand and then it get mind twisted away. So I think it's always fine to just do it as a value play. Play another land, draw a card. And there's a Serra Angel. And there's a Sword to Plowshare. In response, there's an Ancestral. And there's a counter spell from Simon. So the Ancestral gets countered. And the sword takes out this Angel. So that was a good exchange for from Simon. So we're tapping 3 mana. Ooh, Dust to Dust. Wow. That came from the sideboard. So, speaking of sideboard, I'm curious if Thomas kept his lions in his deck, since this is post sideboard. I think he should. There's an active Game-Day Tome on the battlefield, and there's a Time Walk. Okay. So now Thomas really needs to get rid of that Game-Day Tome. If that sticks for a couple of more turns, it's going to be really hard for him to win. Activating the book. He do take some damage from the City of Brass. So, and Thomas is not on 5 life, he's on 25 life. I think this is the first time I had to do a recording all over, because I got so messed up with suddenly Thomas was down to 4 life. And but in the meantime, here's the mace and a clay statue. The clay statue is really a Team Tron tech. I've never seen it in the deck before, but they're great against factories and doing those factory battles. And there's a sword and a counter spell. Okay. So the clay statue will stick around. No, it won't. There's a mana drain on the counterspell. So the clay statue gets removed with a Salty Plowshare. This is a great game. Going back and forth. There's another Gem Tome and a counterspell. You can see also that Simon brought in the mace. I think there were some of those in his sideboard. Thomas attacks with both of them. The mace takes care of one of them, and he uses that one to pump the other one, but then the other one gets disenchanted. And here's a Serendi Efret. And an Abyss. Perfect timing. I wonder if he was sitting with the Abyss in his hand. Oh, here's a crucial card. A recall for 2. I know there's some Gem Tomes in his sideboard. Okay, so Thomas is going to look through it. Yeah, there's a Gem Tome to counterspell. Yeah, perhaps he's going for the Gem Tome and a counterspell, perhaps. Discarding 2 disenchants. So he takes a counterspell and a counterspell. Okay. Shields up. There's a disenchant. And he's not using any of his counterspells. And there's an end of turn Psionic Blast. But cold as ice. Simon just takes it. He's down to 6 life. And he has 2 counterspells in his hand. And there's a Serra Angel. And I think one of the counterspell is going. Yep. So now he attacks with 2 factories. And once again, Thomas is not on 2 life. He is on 22. And Simon is at 4. Because the first time I was commentating, I was like, how did Thomas get down to 2 life here? So Thomas is blocking one of them and is using the mace to pump the other one. And there's a disenchant on the factory. So and just a pass. Casting a Demonic Tutor. Okay. So probably an Ancestral or a Mind Twist. Depends on how many cards there are in Thomas's hand. It's kind of hard to see in this camera angle. Okay, there's an Ancestral. So it probably was that one he searched for. Just past the turn. And Thomas needs some creatures. One of the flyers would be great, or a Psionic Blast. Chaos Orb. But Simon still have that counterspell in his hand. And here he's activating his Chaos Orb to take care of the factory. Let's see if he can hit. Whoa, boom. Perfect. And there's a new factory. So Simon still can't attack. Okay, but he still does. He can of course use the mace. And he get through. So Thomas didn't want to risk his factory getting destroyed. And Thomas just draw go. Doesn't look like he's drawing anything fellow with stone. Anything? No, just pass the turn. Attacks for 2. Thomas is going to block, and there's the mace trick. Ooh, and a second main fireball. That's nice. So that was why he was attacking. Ooh. Nope. Sonic Blast get countered. So now that was the last counter spell that we know of that was in Simon's hand. A balance. Okay, that's interesting. I think Simon has a couple of more lands. Both players have 2 cards in their hands, and now they're doing some counting. So the balance doesn't do that much. This is a long one. So an attack for 2 puts Thomas down to 18. Another factory, and he's pumping it. Thomas is down to 15. A dib. Okay, this is good. Tapping 4 mana. Wrath of God. Okay, and a counter spell from Thomas. He really needs that surrender threat. So Simon, he have a mace, so he can stop one attacking creature with it. He's attacking. Interesting. Is there a lightning bolt? Yeah. So they'll trade. There's a chaos orb, and he's activating it, aiming for the factory, and I think that's a hit. Yeah, that was close. But it's good that it hit. It's so annoying when your chaos orb doesn't flip on a feature. And we don't want a chaos orb flip to decide this match. So both players in a top deck mode. Who's the better top decker? And there's a Sarah Angel. Sword. Simon has the answers. Wow, this was a long game too. Another Sarah Angel, and probably a mana drain. So Simon have 5 mana from the mana drain he can use. He's going for something big. A Brain Geyser. That is perfect. Casting a big mana drain and then getting to cast a Brain Geyser or a Mind Twist is like the best feeling. You feel so smart. And there's a Lotus. Okay, so Simon is going off here. There you see the power of the Brain Geyser. Late game, that's a fantastic top deck, and there's a Mind Twist. So Brain Geyser into Lotus into Mind Twist. And Thomas is looking through his graveyard to see if there's any hope of him top decking anything. You don't want to scoop early in a top 8 match, but he does. And I think his win percentage was really low there. You're always thinking like you have this like this 2% chance of winning, so it's kind of annoying to scoop. But thank you, Thomas, for not making that match last that long. And what a fantastic start here from Simon. Double Mox, Lotus, Ancestral. Wow. And a Lion from Thomas. And a Divine Offering. Taking care of that Lotus. Okay. Ooh, and a second Lion. And there's a counter spell and a factory. Okay, that's good. So Thomas can attack for 4. And there's a factory. So the factory has Simon's factory has summoning sickness, so I think he should attack with both. And doesn't disenchant, but he still does 2 damage. Simon is down to 14. Another factory. Okay, it's going to be hard to attack now. Soul Ring, and just passed. Oh no. Disenchant on the Soul Ring, and Thomas is stuck with 1 planes. So when you see your opponents stumbling like that, I think it's very smart of Simon to go after the Soul Ring. Here's some factory beatdown. Ooh, an Abyss. You can see Simon is holding up that double blue. Okay, so that's Divine Offering on the factory. A mace and an attack for 2. And the Lion gets lost in the maze. Oh no, a Brain Geyser from now, I mean a Demonic Tutor. Okay, and Thomas is still only have 1 land. This is not going very well for Thomas. Demonic Tutor into broken cards. Okay, disenchanting the Mox Jet. Yeah, that's a Brain Geyser for 4. For 5. Yeah, that's a Soul Ring. Yeah. Huge card advantage. Yeah. Looks like the deck is going to take the third game here. Still one land from Thomas. Ooh, a library. Yep, an active library. A bolt. Okay. An attack for 2. Puts Thomas down to 13. Yeah, this is really going to be hard. Strip mine. Now he can destroy the single land of Thomas. Activating the library. There's a Game Day Tome. So much card advantage. An attack for 2. Divine Offering. And finally, a second land for Thomas. And that get the Strip Mine. Another attack puts Thomas down to 13. Balance. Yeah, that's the way out here. And there's a counter spell. Yeah, and Thomas scoops. GG. So Simon won 2-1, and let's put up the matches from the top from the quarterfinal. You can see here that Ole Rustad beat Mikael Johansson, aka Åland, and Magnus Delaval won over David. Simon won over Thomas, and Kalle Nord won over Trygve. So for the next match will be Magnus Delaval versus Ole Rustad, and the second semifinal will be Simon versus Kalle Nord. So that is an awesome semifinal. So I'm really looking forward to showing you that. Until next time, take care.